Hi, my name is Brittany Kleberger, and I am going for business management, and I plan on graduating next December of 2016. Today I'm here to talk to you about what I have learned through this course of business communication and how it helped me in my career path. There are different ways to communicate within the business. You can talk verbally face to face. You can talk internationally with other countries. With meetings, you can have letters that are direct, indirect, persuasive, or negative. You have your social networks, your media sharing sites, your emailing, instant messaging, text messaging. You can do it blogging, microblogging, broadcasting, and then you can have your reports and proposals. The first thing that I learned in this class was how important it was to make sure if you are going to do business with other countries, how much you learn about that other country and their business culture ways. I don't plan on doing it for my career of having to do with other countries, but I thought it was pretty important just in case something does come up and I do decide to do it. I learned that you don't have to sit there and do a whole research of that country. All it does is take just a quick little search and you can find exactly what you need to help you do the business and make it successful. The most important thing that I learned was chapter 2. It kind of hit me big. I thought that it had the most information that I needed, and just communicating within groups, learning about meetings, listening skills, nonverbal communication, and then business ethics and social settings. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you about today because that's the biggest thing that I learned, and I think it's going to be the most important when I do have my career. So starting off with collaboration, it's working together where it's just working together, and no matter what kind of job you pick, you're probably going to have to collaborate with someone or a group of people. And all it is working together. The next thing I learned was resolving conflict. There's always going to be conflict in the workplace, and I learned 7 steps for resolving that. So, to start with number 1, we have proactive behavior, where you deal with the minor issues before they become worse. Next is communication. You get everybody involved and you talk about how you can resolve the issue. Openness. Get all the feelings out before dealing with the main issue. Research. Find reasons for the problem and then try to find the solution. Flexibility. Don't let anyone lock into positions before considering solution. Fair play. Insist on fair outcomes that follow the rules of the company. Alliance. Don't let fighting against each other happen. Instead, make people work together in finding a solution. The next thing I found important was how to communicate with groups. With this, you start out with orientation, where team members get to know each other and you figure out what the task is or the purpose that you are doing when you are working together. Conflict. Finding the different opinions and perspectives of every team member. Next, you'll brainstorm the issue, exploring options and evaluate alternatives for challenging. You can do this within groups or individuals. Then the next would be emergence, where you come together and you decide on a solution. The next step would be reinforcement. The team reestablishes harmony and makes a plan to put the emergence into action. I think these steps are helpful because they make for a good, productive team. Sometimes with collaborating in groups, I learned that you have to do a writing thing together. And if you are set on a task where you have to do this, for most effective writing, I learned that everyone must be flexible, they must be open to others' opinions, and they must focus on the team objective. The biggest thing is meetings. Where I work now, we have meetings, even though it's just a restaurant. And I believe anywhere you work, you might run across where you might have to go to a meeting or you might have to run a meeting. What I learned was important when you do this meeting is you need to define the purpose. This could be issues in the workplace you could have meetings on. You could have maybe your business is having a promotion or a sale that you want to discuss to make sure everybody understands what's going on. Or maybe you have a new product and you want to make sure everybody knows exactly about the product just to make business better. And then the next step you need to do when you do meetings is who's coming to the meeting. Sometimes you can have just the department heads, or you can have everybody. And then you need to decide on the place and time. Is it going to be at the workplace? And if so, which room? Because you want to make sure everybody can fit into that room comfortably. And then a time to make sure everybody can come there. And the biggest, most important thing if you are going to have a meeting is you need to set an agenda. Meetings are best run if they are prepared and it's ready, just so the business meeting can go one step to one step. To have a successful meeting, it is important to stay on the topic. It's important to follow rules, encourage participation, ask for input of other employees. And it's important to participate actively as well for yourself. Use listening skills. And then it's important to have a close effectively. Verifying the purpose of the meeting, summarizing the meeting, and then make sure everyone understands what took place during the meeting. Now sometimes with the new technology and everything, not everybody has to meet at that place. So there's this new way of meeting with webcams where nobody really meets at the same place, but it's important to make sure everybody meets at the same time. The next thing that I learned that was important was listening skills. It's important to listen everywhere, so it doesn't matter if it's in the workplace or to a relationship. So there's 3 different types of listenings. There's content listening, where you understand and evaluate the meaning of the speaker's message on several levels, where it's the logic of argument, strength of the evidence, validate of the conclusions, implications of the message, speaker's intentions and motivates, and then the omissions of any important relevant points that the speaker made. Then there is empathetic listening, empathic listening, where you understand the speaker's feelings, needs, and wants. You don't just jump in and you can't interrupt them. It's just you just listen to them. And then there's active listening, where you make conscious effort to turn off filters and bias to truly hear and understand what they are saying. So that just means you can have all your opinions, but you're just going to sit there and you're going to listen to them and hear what they have to say. Ways to listen effectively. You can receive the information, physically hearing the message of what's being said. And then there's decoding, where you find the meaning of what's being said and then put it based on your values, beliefs, expectations, rules, needs, and personal history. Then you need to remember what's being said, store for future processing. And then next you'll evaluate it, find the facts and opinions of what you heard. Then responding, feedback, applauding, laughing, or just being silent. It's also good, maybe you can ask questions to the speaker. The next thing is nonverbal communication, which is also important to know, just because when you're talking to somebody else, you can get a lot from what they say, or like what they're thinking and what they're feeling, just by based off what things they're doing. So for this nonverbal communication, I have facial expressions, because they can say how the person's feeling, especially if you watch in their eyes. That's why eye contact is very important. You can see what they're trying to say through their eyes. Gestures and postures, hand movements, you can watch for that. And then postures, are they slouching? If they are, they're probably not feeling confident about themselves of what they're saying. Vocal characteristics, are they talking really monotone, or are they having high pitch? Are they talking super fast where you can't understand them? Stuff like that. And then it's not really what they say, it's how they say it, which is also important when you hear vocal characteristics. Their personal appearance can have a big nonverbal communication, just by based off of how they're groomed, their hairstyle, what tattoos they may have, what kind of piercings they have, in the clothing that they're wearing. Something that's not so big in America, but in other countries, touch. Touch is a warmth, comfort, and reassurance. And like I said, it could be a cultural thing. Sometimes here in America, you can find it as support or congratulating someone with a hug, which is considered touch. Next, there's time and place. Don't invade someone's space. Example, standing too close to them. Just by doing that, you can make someone uncomfortable, and they're not going to get the message that you want them to. Then there's etiquette, being professional. Some examples of being professional in the workplace would be have a positive attitude when answering your phone. There's being considerate when you leave voicemails to other coworkers and customers. And then always make sure you have your own voicemail recording. Every business has to use communication no matter what, so there's no way around it. You have to use it. You have to be professional about it if you want your business to succeed. And the most biggest thing I've learned is that you need to know your audience. If your audience doesn't speak the same language as you, they're not going to understand what you're saying. So if there's one thing that you really need to know is know your audience, and it's to listen to who you're speaking with to make a successful business. Thank you.